Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Jason Tucker. This is WP Watercooler's WPblab. It is 7 o'clock. It's Thursday. It's time for us to hit the go button and start the show. So tonight's topic, we're going to be talking a little bit about, well, let's see here. It's episode number 82. 82, isn't that crazy, Bridget?
That's so crazy.
And we're going to be talking about Twitter demographics and how it can help you out with your business. We're going to be sharing some tips and tricks and cool things you can do using those types of Twitter analytics and stuff, and kind of getting all those figured out. So we don't have a guest today. It's just Bridget and I, and we're going to be talking it up for the next hour. Bridget, tell folks everybody about you.
Hey, everybody. I'm the marketing manager for GiveWP.com, the most robust online donation plugin for WordPress. You can find out more at GiveWP.com. I'm also a blogger about social media on BridgetWiller.com, but I very rarely touch that web property these days. Although if you do have some questions after we talk about the subject, Twitter, I would certainly love to answer them, and that would give me something to write about.
Nice. Bridget, thank you very much for introing yourself. I'm Jason Tucker. You find me over at jasontucker.blog. That's where my website is. And I also do stuff over on WP Watercooler. You can go check that out at WPwatercooler.com. And you can go take a look at all the fun stuff that's over there, including links where you can subscribe at WPwatercooler.com/subscribe. All right, let's talk a little bit about Twitter. We've been using Twitter for 10 plus years now, right?
Yeah.
And now we got, yeah. It's crazy. And now that, we've been using it for 10 plus years, it's like, oh, let's start using this for social media, start using this as a marketing tool, and let's start using this as a way to kind of get people to come to our various web properties and do all this stuff. And people have been doing this stuff for years now, but now there's been these tools that have been kind of baked into Twitter, which we've been, kind of using Google Analytics and using stuff like, tiny URLs and all sorts of ways of being able to kind of figure this stuff out. And now Twitter's like, as of a couple of years back, hey, here's some additional demographic data because we're now an advertising platform just like Google is. And our advertisers need to know how well their products are doing, and everybody else just kind of gets a benefit from it, right?
Right.
So I think that's cool that we're able to look at that stuff, and we're going to kind of walk through a little bit about how people that are just starting out using Twitter, or people that are running websites, running web businesses, running web development shops, what have you. This can pretty much apply to anything that has a website or any way of driving traffic to something, to kind of get this all figured out, right? And see how demographics are going to help you out. So where do people start, Bridget?
So I know we don't usually screen share, but I feel like
you should totally screen the shares.
I can't show you other clients' accounts, but I can show you mine.
Yeah.
Let's just say application window.
Yep. Just isolate just that one application.
Because I don't want to share the chat. You gotta be on the show to look at the chat.
Dang, that's how I look like? That's scary.
Okay, so when you go to Twitter and you click analytics, this is the first you see, which is great. You see your 28-day summary, what your tweets were in August, what your tweets were in July, but that's not what we're talking about today. Today we want to talk about your audience. Okay, so in the audience screen, you can see things about your audience. I know you're holding out to wonder what about that. So it'll tell you your current follower audience size. It's 11,000 and whatever. It'll tell you your gender, which is super interesting. I have 62% male followers, and it tells you the interests: marketing, technology, entrepreneurship, tech news. This is not that big of a surprise, right? Here I am. I'm teaching social media. I'm on a show with you that's tech-based. It does not surprise me that 77% of my audience is interested in technology and 79% is marketing. This affirms that what I've been saying on Twitter resonates with my audience, and that my audience resonates with my content, right? But some of the interesting things that also are you know, you can, depending upon your company, looking at their occupation, right? So if I have 30% of my followers are professional and technical, that means if I want to start writing for hire, maybe I should start looking at writing technical writing. Or if I look at 24% being self-employed, maybe those are freelancers who need a little bit of marketing help, and I can start directing, changing the content that I write on bridgetwiller.com and the content that I tweet out to gain more of those that demographic, right? Homeworker, homemaker, self-employed, management. 8% student, that's kind of interesting because I'm surprised. It also tells you things like household incomes, you know. Let's zoom in a little bit. Ooh, that's a lot of zooming. Okay. Screen share with Bridget. She doesn't know what she's doing. Household income categories. So I'm kind of evenly spread around, but if you're a business that's selling something that's a big ticket item, like franchise development or homes, you're going to care about that audience household income, right? Also with your net worth, marital status, single, married. This is just basically a cross section of America. But if you were a dating site like Match.com, you would want most of your audience to be single. And if they're married, maybe you should be Ashley Madison, right?
How do you think that Twitter figures out if you're married or single? I don't ever remember telling it I'm married or single.
Well, it says values based on 15.7% match rate from Twitter partners. So I assume they're sharing data with everybody.
Yeah. So like they're probably maybe not Facebook, but like Amazon or some other site that kind of provides that stuff.
Yeah. And some people say it too, like single, widowed, married, husband, dad. You know, people put that in their bio.
Hey, Bridget, one quick thing in the chat.
Yes,
Mario's asking about is this something that only business accounts have access to, or is this
everybody has
anybody?
access to this right now. If you're
I think he's
on
having
a
a hard time.
desktop,
I think
if
he was
you're
having a hard time finding it.
So Mario and other people who are wondering, this Insight is available on your desktop. So
you click your face.
Sign into Twitter, not a Twitter app, twitter.com, click your face, and then go down to analytics. Once you're in analytics, click it, it'll say home, tweets, audiences. Click on audiences.
This is probably one of those things like me. I was like, I mean, I knew this existed, but I haven't gotten into this since they launched it. And I was like,
right.
Oh, cool. Those are people doing things. All right. That's great. And then I never came back to it. So he probably is in the same boat.
Yeah. Of course, you're welcome, Mario. And this is something that actually got brought up in a conversation at work. Now, if you're a writer and if you have content marketing, we talked to our friend Scott Hollerbox the other day, and he was talking about writing content, how long your content should be. You know, a lot of times on this show, when we say it depends, how long should your content be? What should it be written as? You know, what grade level should be written at? Are you using Hemingway app or Yoast to tell you the grade level? Look at your education. Now, this is not a judgment. This is just reality. Only half of the people who are following me on Twitter completed high school, and only a third college.
But mine, I have people that are making between $100,000 and $1 million. 25% of them are. So not only did they just barely complete high school, but they also are making that much money.
Well, yeah, because think about all the jobs you can have, especially in WordPress. You could skip college and the debt, be super educated, and be amazing, right? Same with realtors. But there is something to take into account, because newspapers aim at 5th grade reading level. And a lot of times we know our people are smart and stuff like that, but we forget that people, A, don't read, they scan, and B, what if they don't understand what we're saying and we make them feel stupid? Then we lost them as a customer before we even gain them. So it's not the only thing that should direct your the way you write your content, but you should think about it, because if only a third of the people that are following me have completed college, I'm not going to start writing PhD level white papers, am I? Not like I would do that anyway, but
right.
you know, so I'm like, okay, between 5th and 9th grade is good. Wall Street Journal's 9th grade, newspapers 5th grade. Home ownership, that would matter if you were a realtor or a mortgage broker.
That's crazy.
Or if
74%.
you were, yeah, or if you were, you know, interior decorator, those kinds of things. So it tells you a lot. This tells you, sorry, because I skimmed, like buying styles, premium brands. So 75% of my audience buys premium brands, whatever that means. So if I was trying to be an affiliate blogger and getting some alternate revenue streams, maybe I would want to blog for Chanel, Coach, Kate Spade, Nordstrom. You know, that's not that I'm going to do that, but these are the kinds of, this is where you would go to see who your audience is right now. Or maybe that's not the audience you want. Maybe you need to work on getting the audience that you need to have. Wireless carriers, also interesting. If you, I don't really care, to me, it doesn't make any difference, but you know, it's kind of an interesting thing too.
Well, especially when you're looking at something like Rogers or something like O2 or T-Mobile UK.
Those are,
but you're looking at those as in the sense that your audience may be on T-Mobile UK or maybe on Orange or maybe on Vodafone or something like that,
right.
telling you that if you were to look at just the people in that country, here's the types of, wireless carriers that they're
Right.
using.
So if you go to the demographics, that was the overview. If you go to the demographics, now it'll tell you age.
Wow.
So 37% of my followers are between 25 and 34, which is 10 to 20 years younger than me. It's interesting, right?
Yeah.
Then there's the education again, occupation again, where they live. So 64% United States, only 64.
Wow.
Followed by UK, Canada, India, Australia. Right? So if you're trying to expand into the UK market, then maybe that's something to be interested in. Maybe you need to test that if your blog is works well at Rogers Mobile or whatever.
Right.
You can dig into this as much as you want to. Even the home values, like we were talking about a home ownership. So education, maybe it's not on yours, but it should be under demographics. There's like 5 tabs: overview, demographics, lifestyle, consumer behavior, all of that. So anyway, so lifestyle, like what they're into, that kind of stuff, marketing. Here's one that's good for people that are trying to be on one side of the aisle or another: political party affiliation. So even though I'm 100% Republican, I have been since my family decided they were Democrat. Just kidding. Come on. There's like 5 of us in WordPress. You guys can love me anyway. Only 31% of my followers are here are Republican, but 27% work for a political party. Really, I mean, it's interesting. So I
Wow.
bet if I signed out of this and signed into Gidgee, that would be different, because that was where I worked in politics.
Right.
Help campaigns in the Republican Party. But here, this account is specifically not political. And I do 99% never talk politics on this account. But it's interesting to see. So it's about a third and a third, right? And then you can hear the drama: Game of Thrones, sports, NFL just started, movies, whatever, right? And so it's good to understand your demographic. We already knew the interest, but here you get some more data like that. So that's kind of the stuff that I thought was a good thing to show, is like, you can go into every one of those tabs, because we're not going to screen share this whole show. That's too boring.
Right.
But I wanted to show you a little bit, like, dig into that. It helps you decide some of your things. Like, I will confess a little bit that we've written some articles for Give that are maybe difficult to read, and we have kind of an internal struggle about what people should read. And then I looked in that data, and let's just say that I have a more educated audience.
Wow. Huh. Yeah, I mean, I was
matters.
I was even looking in mine while we were looking, and we had very similar things. But what was interesting is in the chat, Sheree was saying that like she wasn't even seeing some of the things. Like for instance, she can't find education in hers. There's a few other things, which makes me think that maybe some of the partners that Twitter pulls data from, you haven't exposed yourself enough to those partners to give them like when they ask you like, oh, what other social media accounts do you have, and you specify those accounts. I'd imagine that probably those things are the way in which they cross-reference who you are, and that you're kind of giving up that data in hopes that they'll be able to kind of dig into it and see what it is that you're doing and how you're doing that stuff.
It's possible that our friends in Europe don't see that data because their privacy laws are entirely different.
Oh, that's true.
But it is something to be interested. If you're an affiliate blogger, you definitely want to know that. If you're trying to grow or decide what your niche is, that's a good thing to look at. There's similar data, I think, from Facebook, but
like there's even video stuff on here. So if you wanted to find out, that video that I went live on Periscope, or a video that I uploaded to Twitter or something, you can look on that and see how well you did in that regard. So that's kind of interesting too.
Yeah.
And this data goes way back too. Like you can go back pretty far to kind of figure out what what things worked well for you, and all the different events that occurred and how things interacted when those events occurred. Like you were looking at like MTV Music Awards or Labor Day weekend, and it's crazy the stuff you can pull out of this thing.
So in the chat, they're saying, do I have a business account? Now I have advertised, I've boosted a couple of tweets, but I'll just log in really quick to Gidgee, which I've never,
I'll look in mine too. See.
So audiences on Gidgee, which is my regular personal self that's been using Twitter since March 27th, 2007. I have the languages, I have the gender, the education. See, on Gidgee, only 46% completed high school. It's less than Guru.
Yeah, let me look on mine real quick here. So looking here, 69% male, which the other one, my other account, this is on water coolers stuff here. So he doesn't have as rich of a income as mine does.
Yeah.
Because I apparently follow a couple people. But the other thing that's interesting, if you look up here where it says your followers, you can also look at like organic audience itself. So people just, stumbling upon your stuff. So you can kind of get a better idea of like what people are looking at things and actually interacting with your content. So
yeah, the political stuff is under lifestyle, and I have it for this one too. So it might be that, because it says sign up for Twitter ads, and I still don't have it.
Yeah, I didn't sign up for Twitter ads on water cooler, but
yeah,
it's interesting stuff. I mean, and what's neat is when you're looking at one of the things, I don't know if you're going to talk about this or not, Bridget, but that if you look at the if you look on your actual tweets themselves, you can even see how well a particular tweet did.
Yeah, they finally have that, which is really nice.
You can kind of dig a little deeper and see like, how many impressions did this particular, tweet get, and how many clicks did it actually get.
So weekly for when I do Twitter maintenance weekly. I go into analytics every week, and I look at the data. What I look at? I look at the top tweets.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so if you go into your analytics and the home screen, if you go to tweets, which is the next one, it'll show you the top tweets for the last 28 days by default. It'll show you the tweets, but you just have to click on top tweets to see the best ones. And you can also change it to a current period, a specific period, the last 7 days, certain months. You can export your data if you want. But I like to look at the top tweets, because here's the thing, you guys. Twitter, as I've said before, tolerates repetition and volume. So as long as the tweet is still relevant, right? It's not live right now. Jason Tucker and Rachel Cherry are talking about accessibility, which was last year. Like, right? So as long as it's still true, like it's content that's evergreen, you can recycle that tweet. So you take, you know how we've talked about recycling content using buffer, things like that. I take that tweet and I throw it back into the buffer or whatever,
Wow.
you know, because I use another thing called mini deck, but I also use buffer. But when I'm doing it for clients, we write our tweets for clients in a Google sheet and they approve it. And then so they know what we've written. But I will intersperse the top tweets with new tweets because again, Twitter tolerates repetition and volume. So if it's a top tweet, it's a top tweet for a reason, you know?
I mean, I've looked at tools, primarily like Google Sheet scripts as a way of importing Twitter data into a Google Sheet to kind of get an idea of how many followers did I have this month, how many followers did I have this month, how many followers did I have this month, and then slowly but surely it just kind of builds out that list because it looks to see what things have changed and it updates that data. I'd be curious to see how much that stacks up against the data that Twitter's giving you, you know, in that Google and that Twitter analytics to kind of get an idea of how those work and how you're able to kind of see all that stuff.
What I'd be more interested in is how much it's related to Google Analytics, which I didn't think about until you just asked that question.
Yeah, but especially if you're using tags, if you're using UTM tags to kind of track that stuff.
Yeah, but I mean the audience. So if I'm in I'm in the audience section for BridgetWheeler.com and Google Analytics, it tells me that the language US 65%, I mean 81% and 5% Great Britain. That was basically what we learned from Twitter. Right? So then there's the demographics, and I can look at the overview and demographics, and it's really interesting. Actually, let's just do another screen share. Just I don't care. It's my it's my website, so I can show the analytics all I want. So remember on Twitter, the analytics, it was mostly male. But who reads my blog? It's mostly male. It's still mostly male. Which you would think, because I have so many girlfriends, it'd be mostly female. But no, it's still 62% male, 25 to 34. What did we see on the analytics for Twitter? 25 to 34 audiences. So they could be pulling, because I have BridgetWheeler.com, 62% male on Twitter. Demographic data, 62.3% male. So what I would do if I were you and you were wondering is I'd be look at, where's my age demographics? 37%, 25 to 34. What does it say here? 25 to 34. 31%. 31% of everybody who's looked the last month have been between 25 and 34. Right? So you have this audience, demographics, age, gender, here's interests. So it tells you what people are interested in, lifestyles, hobbies. So I'm sure that this is really similar, right?
Yeah.
What was the other thing? Behaviors, where they're going, geographies, where they're located. Let's see. Well, no shit. Oops. Sorry, FCC. Mostly United States, some Canada, Brazil. That's a surprise. 14 in India, not a surprise. I have a lot of friends in India now. South Africa. Where's my friend in New Zealand? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Bridget's big in India now.
Well, you know, when you make friends, that's what it's all about, right?
Right.
So that's the thing, is like you can verify that what you've done is working. And I would look at Twitter's demographic data and Google Analytics for your web property, and then see where they align. And if they don't align, what's going on, you know, because you can make it for the same time period. And then, you know, really for our web properties to be successful, no matter what our business is, that the content resonates and is accepted by our audience. That's just always true. If we're building websites, that's true. If we're affiliate bloggers, that's true. If we're posting recipes for our bakery, that's still true.
Yeah.
But it can skew how you communicate. Actually, I should just go there for my own ideas on what to put on BridgetWheeler.com. Clearly, everybody's interested in marketing. What should I write about, Jason?
Marketing,
right?
And maybe you should write it towards women, so that way more women will come and actually look at it.
So maybe I'm writing too much to men.
Yeah, maybe. But how do you? I guess the thing is that if your product is primarily for women and you're posting, let's say it's makeup or it's some type of hair product or something that's very skewed towards women. And you're seeing that more men are looking at this stuff on Twitter. How do you you got to craft that tweet somehow to be able to get it to, is it like, hey ladies, blah, blah, blah? Or is it like how do you get it to relate for that particular demographic then?
Okay. So I'm going to tell you something.
Oh, she's going to share a secret. Let's hear it.
Well, I will. So I had this friend. Oh man, there's so much I want to say. I'm censoring myself.
I love it.
So I'm a writer. Okay. Everybody knows that. So my friend and I are dating people, not each other. And so she was entering into a text-based conversation. And she was looking for material. She says, what do I say? Because she's asking me what I'm saying to anybody that I'm talking to. I go, it doesn't work. I don't know your person. She goes, what do you mean? Why can't I just say what you've been saying? I go, because what I've been saying to person X works with person X. I don't know person Y. Right? Okay. So I go, you're going to give me something that you guys have been talking about. So she read some of the text. I go, oh, say this. And then he would say something. I go, oh, say that. And then she'd say something. And then she's calling me Cyrano de Bergerac. Of the sexting world. So the thing is, and that's kind of crazy, but that's something that we understand, right? The essence of texting with somebody of the opposite sex to allure them to date you or to continue on the flame is resonating with your audience. It's still audience. It's at its most primal sense, right? I'm being obnoxious for a reason. So with the culture, there's a culture. So, for example, Various has been on our show talking about, oh, my lash. So there's a whole culture with fake eyelashes. Sorry, whatever they call them. I'm sure I just ruined the culture by saying that. With,
I think falsies or I don't know.
I don't know what they're called, right?
Don't know.
But with the eyelash industry and the beauty industry, that when he actually had an insider deal, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to speak to them the way that they speak. So if the girls on Instagram who are doing makeup tutorials are like, you go with your bad self, #treat yourself, right? Let's just say that's what you're doing. And now you have a brand new mascara, which it's so eyelash extensions. Thanks, Jen Miller. She's texting me. So it's funny because I was talking to Matt Cromwell earlier and I'm like, there's 3 things I need for the store: coffee creamer, batteries, and dang it, Matt, what is it? He's like, I don't know. So I just text him in Slack, mascara. He's like, what? But that's what I'm saying. You're talking about whatever, right? So say you have a mascara that's really good for eyelash extensions. And it's, it's all perfect for wearing with your contacts or whatever. You go and look what those people are saying. And if they're like, #treat yourself, right? Then I'd be like, hey, ladies, treat yourself. We got a brand new mascara that's perfect. Do you wear contacts? No problem. Sign up now, right? So you have to figure out how they speak. And then you have to speak their language. That's why a lot of times social media marketing is like being a sociologist. You have to study the culture. You have to speak in their terms, the way that they like to be spoken to, and the way that resonates with them. Because if I went, hey, let's do your fake eyelashes, now all of a sudden they feel guilty for spending $250 on something that's going to last 2 days, right?
Right.
But even I was at this bar, and these ladies were in the bathroom. They're like, "Oh, I don't look good." I'm like, "You look so good. You just look so cute." And the other girl goes, "Have you heard of microblading?" I'm like, "What's microblading?" And she says, "It's wait, you haven't heard of microblading?" I'm like, "No, what's microblading?" She's like, "It's like a tattoo." I'm like, "I don't get tattoos." She's like, "Yeah, we could fill in your eyebrows really quick and it could look like this." And they're like giving me their sales pitch or whatever. And that's like, so they couldn't speak to me because I don't know what microblading is. And it
Right.
took like 30 minutes in the bathroom for them to explain this to me, right? But if I had already known the culture, I would have been an easier sell to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're thinking, "Oh, this is a 40-year-old in a bar on a weeknight. She's having a midlife crisis. Let's sell her some fake eyelashes, right? Or fake eyebrows or
Right.
common what you know what I'm saying? Like, but because I'm a marketer, I can't help not hearing somebody's sales pitch because I want to see what they're going to try to do. It was like I was at the zoo this weekend and these people were painting your names and Matt Cromwell was with us with his son Noah, and I go, "Oh, look, it's Noah." And I walked right into that sale pitch and like, "Right now we have time to do it." Like it's only $500 or something. And so I go, "Did you see how I walked into that sale pitch? Watch me walk out of it." Right. So you can learn by seeing how other people do it. Right. That's what I'm getting to with these basic examples. We all understand walking a mall, getting somebody harass you to, have soft hands, or you can't even walk in a mall these days without being like ambushed by the kiosk people, right?
I mean, I wear the equivalent of an ad blocker where I wear headphones and then I just keep walking. And then the person's like, "Sir, sir," and they're like trying to hand me this like thing to stick over my shoulders that makes me cold or something. Yeah. And I just keep walking and they're like, "Oh, like I
No, I don't want a massage in the middle of the mall. I just want to go into Radio Shack and get my microphone and move on with my life or whatever, right?" So what you would want to do is I would study your competitor. Yeah. Who is your competitor? What are they saying? Are you resolving with them? And then go back to my thing. "Oh, Bridget, you never stop talking about Twitter lists." Listen to how they speak. So there's certain people that like emojis. So I do all emojis with them. There's certain people that like, stickers. I do stickers with them. When I talk to Rachel Cherry, what am I using?
All the emojis. No,
I'm using GIFs, otherwise known as GIFs, because she's the GIF queen, right?
Oh yeah, heck yeah.
So if I'm in Slack and I'm talking to Devin, I'm doing Dance of Banana. If I'm talking to Matt, I'm doing Sad Obama. It's whatever resonates with that person. Right. You already do this with your friends all the time. Sometimes in the WordPress community, we call it trolling. You know how to troll Josh. You know how to tell hi, Roy. You know how to wish happy birthday, Ben. You already know how to talk about Mantelope's album that's coming out. But so it's a personalized culture. So if you figure out how they speak, you can speak to them the way they do. I have friends, their favorite color is green, they always get a green heart. Favorite color is yellow, they always get a yellow heart. Favorite color is pink, they always get a pink heart. It's the little things, it's those little tiny personalizations that matter. So when you're looking at your demographics and you're like, okay, so I am designing wedding invitations for business. Like we have some friends of ours that do that, called Merriment Designs. Merriment Designs. Go check out their website at merrimentdesigns.com or whatever. They're not a sponsor, but we love them. They type our notes every week. "Hey Sherry, hey Cheryl, thank you." But so if I were Sherry and Cheryl and Merriment Designs, I would want to see those demographics saying single people, because single people aren't married yet. Single people get married. Single people order wedding invitations, right? I would want it to mostly be women. I would want it to be people who make a crap ton of money, but I'd also want some married people because some people's parents pay for their weddings, right? Yeah. I would want them to be kind of local in the North Carolina area or South Carolina, which I forget because I always mix them up. Sorry, Sherry and Cheryl. I know it's one of the Carolinas. I would want them to be more affluent so that they could charge more, right? So people with a higher income you can charge more. People always say, South Carolina, sorry, South Carolina, I'm being correct in the chat. Thank you. Love you. So like if you are asking, and we get this question a lot in all the WordPress meetups we go to, right, Jason? How much should I charge?
Yeah.
When can I raise my prices?
Right now. You can always raise your prices right now.
That's one thing, right? But also think about
especially when you ask the person sitting right next to you who's also servicing the exact same area that you're in with the exact same type of stuff, and you feel like you're the exact same type of experience. You say, how much do you charge? And they go 150, and you go 165.
Right. It's like a reverse bid.
Right.
You're not trying to underbid them. You're trying to overbid them like an auction. Because the truth is, we don't charge enough, but you know, people say, oh, we can't afford it, but you can look at your demographic data and you know that they can.
I got millionaires, obviously. I have millionaires that are follow me on Twitter.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's no reason why you can't use some of that data, spend a couple of minutes looking at it and tweak your content, tweak the way you write to them, tweak, spend some time, make those lists. If you do, like for me, if I want to change it to women, I need to look at what my women are writing. Like it's super surprising to me that 64% of my audience is male. It would not surprise me that WordPress had that big of a male population because mostly WordPress professionals are men. But I started in social media. Most social media people are women. So why are most men, why is my audience, or maybe my audience was mostly women, but since I entered the WordPress scene, I made more male friends in the WordPress. If I was tracking that data, maybe quarterly, making my own Google Sheet quarterly, then I could see if the audience has shifted because you're making decisions on your content. Actually, that's an amazing idea, and I should have been doing that a long time ago.
Yeah, I shared in the chat, and I'll make sure it shows up into the show notes as well. But there's a guy named Ben Collins has a site that Ben Collins. I think his site is benlcollins.com. He has a thing where he has a bunch of Google Sheets that will actually pull in data from Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Google Plus, YouTube, Pinterest, all sorts of stuff. And he just shows you how to write these quick little things to pull in the data that you need so you can make little quick dashboards and that sort of thing. So using those and being able to use a few little functions and stuff within Google Docs, you can come up with some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. I tweeted it out for Blab. I'm going to favorite that or whatever it's called now. So like that's why those audience demographics matter. It matters when you're deciding a niche. It matters to check that you're resonating with your audience. It matters when you're trying to see why your content is or is not resonating. If you don't think you're getting enough clicks or getting enough traffic or business, maybe look at see who, and then change who you're following. Or maybe not necessarily who you're following, in hopes of triggering, or who you're engaging with. Like decide maybe I should spend more of my time with my women friends on Twitter, because maybe they're mostly male, but mostly women are the ones who want my social media help or whatever. Like that's the demographic data, in my opinion, isn't an answer as much as a way to ask more questions to get the answers you already know, because you're running a business, you know your customers. Nobody knows them better than you do. Nobody. It's like, you can't really help somebody sext. They have their own culture, their own little relationship that's private. You can't, you can maybe give some guidance, but that's the intimacy in a crude way, but in a lot of ways it's true. And that's the intimacy you have with your customer. You spend the time talking to your customer. You know their business. They know theirs. As a website professional, your job is to advise and to make those user-friendly, design, amazing decisions so that they can meet their business goals. Like Steve Zengid always says, what are your business goals? It's like his version of it depends. But the truth is, I think more often than not, my suspicion would be that our friends, Jason, who build websites for a living in WordPress, are more often than not counselors, getting that information out of their clients, because I bet their clients don't even know what their business goals are, because they just decided, hey, it'd be cool if I opened up a shop that only sold teacups because I have 10 in my cabinet. So I'll just start going to garage sales and estate sales and buying teacups, and then I'll start a store in Portland. Maybe I should have a website. And they're like, what should it look like? I don't know. Like, you decide. And then you're not just doing front and back end and design. Now you're their business coach.
Yeah, which is crazy considering you didn't even go into that business. Oh, the only thing you're really coaching them on is the fact that you can actually, build the website and how to maintain it and how to interact with it. And I get roped into that stuff all the time.
Exactly.
They're just like, hey, how do I run a website? How do I make this website work? How do I make the socials work with the website and all that sort of stuff? No, I think it's interesting stuff, especially when it comes to Twitter, because a lot of people think of Twitter. Well, there's a couple classifications of Twitter. So you have those people that think of Twitter as a broadcasting mechanism, and they just broadcast out to it, and that's it. And if somebody, they kind of throw the line in the water, and if somebody bites, then they start a conversation. Then you have those people who think it's email, and they'll wait 6 to 8 hours later, and then they reply back, and they're like, dude, that was a funny episode of so and so. And they're like, what? Why are you replying to this? It's like
2 years later.
It's like if somebody called you and said hello, and then you hung up, and then 6 hours later you picked up the phone and went, hello? Oh, hey, how's it going? And then you hung up again. It's crazy. So you have those people that use Twitter in different ways. Some people are using Twitter total lurkers. They don't even have an account. They log in, they do a quick search, and they're like, dude, what happened on this street and this street? Oh man, there's a fire truck. That's crazy. You have those sorts of things that happen.
That is so funny, because that is the best analogy I've ever heard, Jason. That's exactly what it's like. I mean, it's unbelievable. Like, Twitter started as texting people. Like, I just keep, I think I need to keep saying this over and over again. You don't text somebody and then not respond to them for like a week. Or if you do, maybe you're not that good of friends. You know what I mean?
You used to be able to tweet. I don't know if you still can to Twitter, but you used to be able to do 40404 to tweet to Twitter and say your tweet in less than 140 characters and all that stuff.
It was like, what's the conversation? It's
right.
It's text based. I don't know if it's asynchronous is the right word or whatever, but it's you're going back and forth. It's my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn.
Yeah, half duplex.
You're playing Scrabble, okay? You're going back and forth. So using that, but using the analytics, which is, people, we like data. We're data in our culture. And when I say our culture, I mean the WordPress community. We have a love-hate relationship with data. This is my assessment. We like data when it helps us. We don't want to give our data to anybody else. But we believe in open source. But we browse in incognito browsers,
right?
And we block pop-ups even though we install them on our customer sites. We're a paradox, okay?
Oh my gosh, total hypocritical. It's crazy.
We're a marketing nightmare. So, when I first started in this space, I had a very difficult time understanding our culture. And as I've said before, it was like giant pandas. They've never been seen mating. But they do because there are more pandas. And that's when I found out there's all these private conversations in a tool called Slack. Well, they're happening, right? So that the pandas are mating. It's just not public. Twitter's public. So maybe more insight because, you and Martin Hendrickson are like BFFs on WordPress Slack, or, you got Tom McFarlane in your back pocket, or you and Carrie Dills go out to tacos and beer. I don't know. Maybe you have more insight. But what I'm saying is you can know more than you think you can just by using a free tool that's on your browser called Twitter.
Yep.
Demographics. Check it out. See if it helps you get some kind of insight, inspiration. And I think that would be a helpful thing. That's why Jason was like, what should we talk about? I'm like, I just started using this again I always use it every Monday. I'm a routine oriented person. So Twitter is maintenance day, Monday maintenance. So I do all of my unfollowing, all of my following, all of my looking at tweets, all of my, oh, wow, that's a surprise. Like that tweet really resonated. We're going to throw that back in the mix, And it's really nice to see that kind of flow. And then if it doesn't keep resonating, sometimes you can rewrite it and see if was it the writing that helped or was it the link that they liked or whatever like that. And it's fun to experiment. Remember, we're supposed to be having fun in marketing. So have fun.
Well, and if you're not using your own, because I remember building this one guy's website, and he had ads all over the website, and he calls me up and he says, so the ads, you installed them, supposedly it works great. It's not working on my computer. The guy had an ad blocker installed on his own computer that he wanted to have ads on his own website. And he's asking me why his site doesn't have ads showing up there. So I think the thing is that when you're building this stuff, you got to use this stuff.
Yeah.
And you have those people that like flag plant, their old Twitter account, and they're like, yep, first name, last name, that's mine. And then you look at it and it's still an egg. It still has like maybe one follower, maybe 3 bots that's following it, and that's it. And they're like, so let's do this Twitter thing. And you're like, I don't know if you've ever used Twitter. Like, let's look. And then you look and you're like, you're still an egg, dude. Come on, what's going on? You're still an egg. You haven't changed anything. And really, like, what's happening here? Why aren't you doing more with this thing that you're wanting to spend money on?
Some people think, why do I have to have a conversation on Twitter? I had this conversation today. Why do I have to even care about Twitter? I'm like, well, how about the last 2 presidents got elected that way? Whether you liked them, either one of them or both or neither, that's right. It's irrelevant. Let's not talk about that. Literally, 2 presidents got elected because of Twitter. That's undeniable. Okay? How about the fact that we know whatever Richard Branson from Virgin is thinking because he tweets it? How about having access to Gary Vaynerchuk? How about being able to tweet Matt Mullenweg? How about being able to even know Morton because of Twitter? How about I met you on Twitter? I mean, you can go from the top to granular. The show wouldn't even have existed if we didn't know each other, not in this way. And I met you on Twitter. Like, Twitter is the cocktail party, And this is what I was saying today is, sure, the main big conversations don't happen on Twitter. But Twitter is where I meet, I remember, oh, yeah, Jason does that. Oh, yeah, Jason does that. And the next time I need somebody to ask, does Jason, do I know somebody that does X, Y, and Z? Oh, yeah, Jason does. I just saw him last week. I went to this thing last Friday, Solves and Solves, like Bob and Kathy put on. Like, oh, yeah, John Chow was there. Like, I forgot about John Chow. He's not in the top of my mind.
Yep.
But then I danced salsa with him because we all rotated, So now you think, oh, yeah, johnchow.com. Oh, there's Oscar. I haven't thought about him. Because it's not that we don't care about people. It's just that our lives are consumed by the things that are demanding us, like little children, literally or figuratively pulling on our shirts going, mommy, 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 right? Notifications, actual children, work, bosses, people with questions. And so when you're on Twitter, you get back, you continue to stay at top of the mind. And then people go, oh, yeah, Jen Miller, doesn't she write for a living or something? I should go look at needsomeoneToblog.com. You know what I mean? Because people forget. They just forget. It's not that they don't care about you. It's not that they don't know you. It's that you're not top of mind. So continuously engaging in those conversations keeps you at top of mind. So for a business perspective, I think in this day and age and in this specific demographic, our entire life, blood, and livelihood is dependent upon the internet. In order to stay top of mind, we need to stay in that feed. And it's not just pushing things out, it's having those conversations. So if I know that a lot of my audience, 24% are homemakers, I can start making guesses about that. Maybe they're stay-at-home moms that want side jobs. Somebody like Jen hires writers who are stay-at-home moms. That is a really important piece of information for her. So she was going to hire more writers and said, hey, Bridget, how do I hire more writers? Then I would say, you know, well, I have 24% of my audience are homemakers. I could tweet out that you're hiring and a link to your site. See what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
when you start looking at that, you start thinking of your audience differently. Not only, it's not that you're using them, it's just that you're speaking to things that matter to them. If I refer people to Jen, then they're going to be paying attention to me again. When I publish a blog post, I'm like, oh yeah, Bridget, that's how I found out about this job I have now, or whatever. Because referrals is how we do our business, and staying at the top of that is important. It's not just trolling Josh 412 and Kat Dara and hi Roy and happy birthday Ben. That's fun. That's the fun part. And we love that. And it's valid. But guess what? How many people know that Josh does Caldera forms? I do, because he's always in my feed.
Yeah.
He's always in my feed. And all that trolling and all that fun behavior makes me think about it. Every time I see Rachel Cherry, I think of accessibility. Every single time. It's like in your conscience, you know, you're like, oh man, is that? And I started typing in when I put words, when I put a picture on Twitter, I started typing a caption because I'm like, oh, Rachel says it's not accessible. You know, it's not, it doesn't even matter. It's just, that's what happens. So it's a natural thing. So definitely dig in those analytics. I guess I probably should have written a blog post on this.
Well, I mean, you could pretty much look
Embed
at our
this video.
You pretty much look at our show notes, embed the video, and then go like, oh yeah, and all these other things I said. And then if you really wanted to get tricky, you can actually put the links. You can actually put the links to each time you mention the thing in the video, so it automatically jumps to that spot in the video. I'm telling you, you can do some cool stuff.
That would be too easy. I know, but I need to get back blogging. I feel so guilty about it. I just, you know, I'm excited about speaking at WordCamp Sacramento and LA this year, and I'm just thinking like my time is being diverted elsewhere. But this is a good subject, and I'm so glad that we had an open spot to talk about it.
Yeah, yeah. Me too, because I think using Twitter, especially people in the WordPress community, Twitter is like that. That's the spot that people are interacting with. Yeah. That's the place where people are doing this stuff in. And most of them pretend that they're not social media people, even though they totally know that they are social media people. They just don't really realize it. They're just kind of like, oh, I guess I know social media. I think. I don't know. Yeah. I shouldn't be asking you this live on the air or anything, but we have some folks lined up over the next couple weeks to be on the show. Should we even mention that stuff?
If they're lined up?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we have some. I know that Andrea Middleton is going to be our Community Connections guest in October. And okay. I know that Shada Toriabi is going to be our Community Connections guest in November. I'm not sure who's next week on WPblab.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I'm looking in here. I'm trying to do it while we're live on the show. I was just trying to figure out like how is it that we could help folks be able to find more stuff that's going on the show, so that way people are able to.
Oh, we should put a schedule on the WPwatercooler.
I guess we could do
that,
couldn't we?
Scheduling plugins. I don't know. Like, we're trying to get more organized, people, and that's the cue for us to say, Hey, do you have a pitch? Do you have an idea? Do you want to be on WPblab? Do you have a reliable internet connection, a quiet place to record, a computer, and headphones? We want you to be on the show. This is a community-driven show, driven by the community. And guess what? You're part of the community. Pitch us your topics in our Facebook group. We'd love to have you. And pick a Thursday, and we will open up a Facebook chat between the 4 or 3 of us and work out the details. So how do you get on the show? Go to our Facebook group, pitch us a topic. Make sure you have a reliable internet source, the best Wi-Fi you can, possibly hardwired if it's possible, headphones, a quiet place with no music, no dogs barking, and we would love to have you on the show.
Yeah, definitely. And people in the chat are saying like, oh, you should have a schedule on the show. We actually have a schedule. I just don't get around to posting it until the day that we're going to be recording it. Like there's actually a schedule. The thing is that I don't want to put this, like, I don't want to put this stuff out there. And then people are like, oh, actually I can't be on. And then we have to do this whole, oh, I'm so sorry.
That happened to me with the Twitter chat. And I didn't know, and I got stood up.
Oh man.
But you just roll. You just have to keep rolling. And you and I, you know what we're good at? We're good at rolling.
Yeah, that's true. We just like, I go,
nobody shows up. Great. We're talking about Minecraft. I don't play Minecraft. I know it exists. We're going to do it.
Oh man. Exactly.
Welcome to our homes and to our show and to our random rabbit holes. Tonight, we're going to talk about what's up, folks? It's 7-ish. We're talking about playing Scrabble, sexting, and your WordPress business, and getting more information from Twitter analytics. If you like this show, give us a thumbs up. If you don't, do it twice. Don't forget to subscribe, tweet it out, give Jason Tucker some dollars on his coffee campaign, and we love you.
I love that Bridget just did the outro. That's awesome. Thanks, Bridget. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
WPwatercooler.com/subscribe. Thanks, folks. Talk to y'all later. You have a good one. Bye.